6.5 years later, 180 researchers, they have some amazing developments in the lab such that we can stop burning up our planet. And instead, we can generate all the energy we need right where we are, cleanly, safely, and cheaply. Think of the space that we spend most of our time. Tremendous amount of energy is coming at us from the sun. We like the light that comes into the room, but in the middle of summer, all that heat is coming into the room that we're trying to keep cool. In winter, exactly the opposite is happening. We're trying to heat up the space that we're in, and all that is trying to get out through the window. Wouldn't it be really great if the window could flick back the heat into the room if we needed it, or flick it away before it came in? One of the materials that can do this is a remarkable material, carbon, that has changed its form in this incredibly beautiful reaction, where graphite is blasted by a vapor, and when the vaporized carbon condenses, it condenses back into a different form. Chicken wire rolled up. But this chicken wire carbon, called a carbon nanotube, is 100,000 times smaller than the widths of one of your hairs. It's 1,000 times more conductive than copper. How is that possible? One of the things about working at the nanoscale is things look and act very differently. You think of carbon as black. Carbon at the nanoscale is actually transparent and flexible. And when it's in this form, if I combine it with a polymer and affix it to your window, when it's in its colored state, it will reflect away all heat and light, and when it's in its bleached state, it will let all the light and heat through, and any combination in between. To change its state, by the way, takes 2 volts from a millisecond pulse. And once you've changed its state, it stays there until you change its state again.
Every week, more than 100 volunteers produce and present over 135 hours of local access radio, celebrating your people, your ideas, your music, and your culture at your place, Community Radio Hamilton.
I think the energy thing is quite a big thing, and I just posted on our Facebook page a list of 115 dead scientists who have been assassinated. It's quite remarkable the technology that they came up with and how it was suppressed and shelved. Horrendous in my eyes that we have a social structure that creates the behaviour to deprive the human species basically of these technologies and energy devices that would help people. I mean, you'd be helping people in Africa who are starving and hungry, and, you know, people who are dying every sort of minute of the day. We've talked a lot about the problems in society. Give us your possible solution of what you think we can go to in terms of a new social design for all of humanity, a global social structure.
Okay, I think humanity is currently going through a birthing process where we've experienced and we're experiencing pain at the moment. That's part of the birthing process. So humanity is realising and waking up to the fact that we can become interdependent. We've operated as individual cells competing with each other. And now there comes a time, just like the bacteria back in the primordial soup 1 billion years ago, they were independent cells, and then they formed colonies, and that formed, from the colonies formed an organ, and from the organ they formed a body, and inside a human body we've got trillions of cells that operate interdependently. And the humanity now, humans are individual cells of humanity, and as we kind of come together and cooperate and learn to live as a community, just I guess as say an ant population does, there's no specific leader in an ant population. They all operate independently for the whole, and they operate with synchronicity. So that this is I guess part of what humanity's going through now. We're actually learning to cooperate, and the internet is a large part of that social structure that's being able to share information quickly and update people in terms of how these uprisings begin. And even if you think about information, how quickly it can be shared, you know. When people used to think that the Earth was flat, it took about 80 years for, you know, ships from each port to go to a town and everyone say, hey, did you know that the Earth's now round? And, you know, and then people had to have knowledge or experience or information in order to believe that. But quite quickly now, if we had that realisation about the Earth being flat to Earth being round, you could change the world paradigm overnight with the media outlet and the information we have. So just thinking, I guess, how much media, social media, how the social platforms can actually influence our value system now. And that's a big part of what we're doing. We're going through a value change, reassessing our values. We've also experienced, I guess, a large part of a high growth rate. And I liken, I guess, the human population to the yeast on an agar plate. You start out on a relatively flat growth curve, and then it becomes quite steep. And then I guess you come to a point at which I guess it's a sigmoid curve, where you can either start creating toxins in your own environment and destroying yourself, or you can go to the next level and start increasing your growth. And perhaps the oil, fossil fuels and things we burn could be creating the toxins in our own environment. And we could make a choice at the top of the curve to either enhance free energy and go further, or take a dive. And I guess at this point everyone faces a choice, and basically have to be responsible for our choices, and we'll bear the consequences of the choices we make. And we will have to be aware, I guess, and inform ourselves and educate ourselves on what the choices are.
Excellent. I found a quote by Richard Buckminster Fuller, and he basically said, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So I think this is what we're doing right now, in terms of there are groups out there who are advocating new possibilities, new social designs that can take us to the next level of whether it's our evolution, whether it's our understandings, or just basically our existing reality. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of organisations, I think, that are all striving for a similar kind of goal, and you see things like transition towns, or one that I'm particularly fond of, I guess, is the resource-based economy. Jacques Fresco is a brilliant man who, I guess, is over 70 years of scientific investigation in social engineering has understood that cooperation and just, you know, understanding that the next logical step from a monetary-based system is the resource-based system, or resource-based economy. And this is where resources are declared the common heritage to a man. We allow science and technology to create abundance, which it can quite easily do if we allow it. You remove the social structures which currently inhibit our emergence, and get rid of the money system effectively. Yeah, it becomes it's outdated now, the money system. It's really starting to hold us back. So resource-based economy, it's called the Venus Project. It's certainly worth investigating. And at the same time, in tandem with the knowledge that we have in science, there's also a movement which I like to associate myself with, called the Zeitgeist Movement. This is about creating awareness, allowing people to adapt to change in the environment, and educating people in the current fallacies and problems with society, but at the same time providing solutions. I think it's better to focus on the positives and the great things that humanity has achieved. It's quite easy to get caught up in the negativity and the doom and gloom and the corruption and the downfall of the money system, but hey, at the same time it's actually creating an opportunity for us to thrive. We don't need to compete. We can actually cooperate, and that will allow us to thrive. When we've got our system established on Earth, you know, we can then perhaps visit and see the stars and start exploring the place. But I think it would be the most ridiculous thing for us to take our money system to another planet. When you travel through space, the essential things to life are air, water, food, shelter, and effectively we are drifting through space on a rock. So air, food, shelter, education, are the important things, but we have this hang-up over a money system. It's an old, established social structure that is really past its time, and now it's, I guess, we need to create an emergent society, one that accepts change, one that accepts change readily, and looks to improve on itself. We've really stagnated over the last few years, and that is because people, I guess, through the structure, the money system has actually created this apathy in people.
Yeah, I get asked quite a few questions when talking to the people about a resource-based economy, and they sort of think that it's a new world order thing where machines are going to rule their lives, the global elite are going to use machines to control people with a central computer, washing machines are going to start attacking people, ovens are going to start slapping children. It's actually quite ridiculous. So I give them a breakdown and tell them that a resource-based economy is a social design created in a holographic way compared to a New World Order version of a one world government which is created in secrecy. Totally different. What's your opinions on the differences between a resource-based economy, which is a holographic social structure, and a New World Order one world government, which is a pyramid structure created in secrecy?
Yeah, I mean, it's vastly different. As you say, it's one is created in secrecy and one is an open and transparent, with allowing people to contribute and help people get ahead. The pyramid structure, I guess, creates people at the top which effectively have a lot of power, and they don't want to lose their benefits, and that's why they work pretty hard not to lose the benefits. And I guess that's, again, a natural instinct of human is to survive, and I guess their egos want to keep to survive. So the pyramid structure, yeah, it's certainly detrimental, I think, to society at the moment. And at the moment we're at a crossroads where if we let these controlling structures like the pyramid structure and secret societies take over and they start controlling us, we're going to see a lot more, I guess we're reminiscent of 1984, the movie, and Big Brother, and you can already see it happening. There's a lot more video surveillance, a lot more monitoring of these kind of things. So it's based on fear, this environment where the fear of losing your benefits is what rules and drives your actions. An open source based economy or a resource based economy is something that's holographic. Each individual part of it is self-sustained in itself. It doesn't doesn't fear its demise because it can self-replicate and create self-support. It interlinks, it becomes interdependent with other systems, and there's just a lot more awareness.
Systems approach?
Technology, definitely a systems approach. So your technology can be shared, the best of what we know is shared, and it's built on, and innovation is promoted. If you think about innovation and technology and the incentive to survive, a caveman that invented the spear in order to survive and feed himself or solve the problem, his incentive was not money, it was survival. And just as our current incentive to create free water or reverse osmosis to feed poverty-stricken people in Africa and whatnot, that is an incentive for people to survive. It's not based on money. It's an altruistic value that we need to start adopting. And as we all contribute, the greater sum of the whole is found when we all collaborate, rather than kind of competing, and you don't get the synergy happening.
G'day, this is Darren from Hamilton News, the community newspaper that's delivered to 46,500 households every Thursday, the last community paper before the weekend. Also proud to be the official sponsor of fundraising for the Cancer Society's Lions Lodge. Hamilton News is full of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. If you have a story to tell or you'd like to advertise your business, give us a call, 834-4658. That's 834-4658. Hamilton News, in your letterbox every Thursday.